Hello everyone, welcome to the GP1 member event race 2, and as we look beside us we see someone in a full Aston Martin race suit, and they're gonna be an absolute menace this race, but that's gonna be later. For now we're gonna go to the start of this race, skipping a little bit forward. The lights are now on, we have 5 red lights, the lights go green, and here we go. We have a bad start trying to get to car 33, but we have to brake because he cuts to the inside, lose a position to car number 11, the Aston Martin guy. We get a big hit in the back, but that does mean we can get around the outside. It did hurt a little bit, but into the spiral we are through, back up to position 9, and now we're gonna have to try to catch the guys in front, but we do have a yellow flag, so everyone slows down and waits to the lights go green again. Now unfortunately you can't do the joker lap, which we're gonna have to do on the first lap. Now we're slowing down massively, really making sure that the guys that have had a crash don't lose too much ground, but we are going green again in a second. Here we go, full throttle, and we have a little bit of a worse launch. We had the throttle pressed fully because they had limited the car, so you can just wait until it goes again, but we do have a good exit, and we're right up to the back of kart 33 going into the left-hander. He is also battling with the kart in front, so we might have to get an opportunity to sneak by, but we can't quite make it work, and they're fighting still. They're a bit wide, but at the exit of the spiral we can't quite get side by side, and we definitely have better pace than last race. We're keeping up quite well with these cars in front, and last race they were driving away, which they are not doing right now. The gap does fluctuate a little bit. Different parts of the track are better for me and worse for them, but that always happens with me, especially at this track. Now going through the left hand hairpin, taking it well, making sure we take a good exit on the right hand hairpin, but they do have enough room, no space to go for a move through the spiral. Then the guy almost spins in front, so we're side by side, and he pushes almost into the wall. He's on the inside for the next corner though, so we can't make a move, have to stick behind, and that was lucky for him that we couldn't get past, and actually lucky for the guy that almost had that spin. He managed to save it and didn't even get overtaken by either of us, because kart 32 in front of me had to take some avoiding action, of course. Now going through this section with the double hairpin again, still behind, looking behind me as well. There are some people there, but not quite close enough for any moves, so we're gonna stick behind and see if we can make an overtake. Still sticking behind very well, and actually being a little bit closer than last lap, so that is good. And closing up through the right hand, the left hand of the exit, kart 32 does seem to do very well, and he closes up to the kart in front of him, and he might be looking for a move, but then when we go up the hill we close up again, and we're a little bit of a train, getting a little bit held up even by these guys that were quicker last race. So it's good to see that we improve. And then going through the straight, kart 32 tries to go side by side with the kart in front, doesn't quite work out. We make a mistake through the spiral, and going through the straight there we're trying to think about when a good moment would be to take that joker lap, but on the left hand here kart 19 makes a big mistake. Kart 32 gets past, and we're trying now also to get past. We can't quite make it work. Try to do a switchback going up the hill, but then through the right hander he doesn't give us enough room. We didn't really have enough room alongside, so we weren't entitled to any space, but that was a very good opportunity, and unfortunately we couldn't make it work. So now we're gonna have to look later on in this race to make that overtake. A good spiral though, and we're right behind him. We do need to overtake quickly if we want to have a chance to even fight kart 32, as they do seem a bit quicker. Kart 19 doesn't seem to have the same pace they had last race, or they're having some trouble with the kart. It can make a difference, and we are right behind him, trying to hustle him, make a move, have a bit of contact there at the apex, but that gives him speed to drive away actually. So that was a mistake from my part, trying things also through this double hairpin to get a better exit. It doesn't quite work out though, and now we're gonna have to work to close up that gap before we can even try to make a move. Now into the spiral might be a good place to make a move, but it's very hard because you can brake quite late, and it's very difficult. It is one of the best overtaking opportunities on this track if you know how to make it work. I have not figured that out yet, so we're gonna have to keep working on that and find more overtaking opportunities. Now overtaking on an indoor track is one of the most difficult things. There's limited space, not that much room, and also the track is quite narrow. Any mistake you make trying to overtake can cost you or the other or both quite a lot of time, so you do want to to be clean. I want to be very clean. I don't want to be a dirty racer, as we have now closed up again to the back of cart 19, looking to the inside there, but it doesn't work out. We do have a good exit though up the hill, and again almost pushing him at the exit there, and across the line we are just almost there. Looking down the inside doesn't quite work out. We're trying to do a different line to get a good exit onto the straight, but that actually doesn't work out and gives him massive amounts of space. So we're gonna have to be careful not to try weird things like that anymore, because that just makes sure he can drive away. Now he's the inside there on the right hander, but because there's a left hander immediately after, I can't make a move, and now we have lost 1 kart length to him again. The gap between us is really fluctuating. At some parts of the track we are right behind him, and then some parts we lose a lot of time. Now going across the line we seem to catch back up again through this left and a right hand hairpin, but on the straight he can just drive away, and the spiral we actually close up massively. He brakes early, but that also makes me make a mistake. We brake hard and fast because we don't want to hit him in the back, and that means we have lost a little bit of time again. Now it seems to be very difficult to gain some time and to consistently be on the back of this guy, so I am looking behind me now. Maybe there will be a gap for me to go for that joker lap, and then if he goes for the joker lap later on we will be in front of him. But as you can see, we've lost quite a bit of time now, and we have a few kart lengths between us going into the spiral. We do take it better than we have the last couple of laps, but as we approach 1/3 race distance we haven't really made up any ground. We're still in P9 and we're gonna be finishing higher up, but how high we can finish depends on how quickly we can get past kart number 19 here in front of us. We do seem to be closing back up, so even if that gap sometime grows we can catch up, and we do actually improve our best lap for this race. So we definitely are being held up by the guy in front. The question is how quickly can we overtake him, because on the straights and some of the corners he does seem to have a great exit, but we have spotted a good opportunity and some room behind, so we're gonna be taking our joker lap, and the guy behind us also takes their joker lap, which means there's no way we're in the way of anyone exiting the joker lap, so that's a good thing for us. Now we're gonna have to go push hard and try to overtake that guy in kart number 19 by doing the undercut, having to be quicker than him. Now we look ahead, if we can see him we can, and we take not that great this first left-hander hairpin, but the right we have some good exit speed, and now we're going to the spiral. This does seem like a decent lap, no mistakes through the spiral, good speed through. And now looking, is kart number 19 gonna do his joker lap? Yes, he is doing it because he saw enough room, and that means we're still stuck behind him. So trying to get that position didn't work out because he could just take his own joker lap the lap after. Now he told me he didn't even do it to cover me off, he just saw a gap and so he went for that joker lap. So unfortunately it has just worked out very well for him, and we will still be stuck behind him. We did have a bit of contact on one of the first corners, we were behind him, but we're trying to overtake, but again that gap is just growing and then shrinking again. We do seem to make a lot of mistakes when following cars, and we're not that good at following very closely, so that is something we're gonna have to work on. But for now let's focus on the guy in front. Now going through the right hander up the hill, we actually close up massively, and through the right hander there again closing up massively. The gap is very small, and then through the left hand happened a little bit of contact, so we are still right behind him, but then onto the straight we do lose a little bit of speed and he is gaining time. I don't know how he's doing that on the exit, maybe he is just quite a bit lighter than me, but it is really frustrating how I can't get past. We should be lining up a move as we do get a little bit closer through this right then left section, but again on the exit he gains a little bit of speed, although onto the up section he actually goes wide. He does that quite a lot, but then there's a yellow flag, so we slow down a little bit of my hand going up. I'm a little bit annoyed. Now we're making sure that gap doesn't grow but also doesn't get smaller. Now we're trying to take the best lines we can. We have been limited on the kart and he is just driving away from me, so I'm getting a bit annoyed that his kart is quicker, but we go green and we actually close that gap up massively, and through the spiral there we're just behind him, but we can't make it work on the restart there. We are not past and we're still stuck behind him. Now you must be wondering about the guy in the Aston Martin suit that is coming up later. He is the cause of these yellow flags, so he is being a bit of a menace actually, and not driving that well. He's quite a bit slower than me, even though he started in P10, so we don't have to worry about him as we are now desperately looking for a move. We were quite close, but again on the exit here onto the straight we actually lose massive amounts of time through the spiral though, closing that up again. Can we make a move into the right hander? Not quite enough room though, so we have to still stick behind through this section, but we do actually seem to be quite a bit quicker at this phase of the race. Maybe he has lost a bit of his rhythm because of the yellow flag, so we can stay behind him a little bit more, although we do sometimes lose a bit of speed. And through the left hander we make a mistake, and that little mistake cost us about 2-3 card lengths, so that is very sad and very annoying, but we will be trying to catch that back up again, as we already have passed halfway through this race. It's gone really quickly and we have done 18 laps already, still closing back up to card number 19 here. We are trying, but it's not quite working out. I thought we would be finishing a little bit higher than this, and I know we're not finishing 9th. We are definitely finishing above that, so a better position, but we do need to get past then, because this guy does seem to be holding us up, even though that gap is quite large. We have set our best lap of this race, but not a PB, and he makes a mistake through the spiral there, so we close up and someone on the left lets us through. That was for blue flags though, unfortunately not for position, so still in P9, but we are now right back at card number 19, looking if there's any way to get past, and we look to the right, but there's not enough of a braking zone there to just jump to the inside of the corner, so we're gonna have to be a little bit patient. We do actually lose again some speed at the end of the up ramp, and then through the left and then the right hairpins. Again a mistake from me and a mistake from him. We look up just frustrated at how this race is going. I should definitely be ahead of him, but I can't find a way through, and that is something that is very difficult about this track. It's quite narrow and there is not that many braking zones, and the braking zones you do have are quite short. Of course this is electric karting. These karts stop quite quickly, so you can brake very late, which is cool and it is fun, but it's making it very difficult to overtake, and my overtaking technique is not the best. But now we are quite close, going through the left and right hairpins, but onto the straight again we lose a lot of time, as you can see, but through the spiral actually closing back up again, and we haven't been this close to the kart in front for quite a while, but no way through this right then left. We still make sure we're right at his back, but then at the exit actually he drives it away again, so through the right hander now up the hill and again closing up. We are so close, but yet so far, as we did set a personal best lap, actually last lap 32.9, so that is very good. We're trying everything we can, and actually hit the steering wheel there with my hand because I'm frustrated. I can't find a way past. I'm definitely quicker because I have been catching up, but I have been making mistakes every time I have caught up. That means we lose time to the kart in front, and now there's just no way past again. I'm not sure what we can do to get past as we go through the right hander there. We do lose some time going up the hill, and then at the exit on the left hander again we are looking though if there's any way to get past, but there's just no way, and we make a mistake going onto the straight, and that means we lose a bit of time. So like I was saying, very difficult, and if you make a mistake in electric karting, especially if they're the defending driver, you don't lose as much time because the kart doesn't bog down. And we have now a yellow flag, and going through the left here we actually have the guy in the Aston Martin race suit spun out there on the exit. It does look like it's going to be because of a crash, because that's a weird place to crash on your own, and I learned afterwards that he was being a menace with blue flags, not listening to them. But that's not the end of the story, but we're gonna talk about that later. For now we're gonna go to that restart and trying to get quickly onto the back of the kart in front, trying to overtake. We're making sure we take as little of a line as possible to get a quick exit when the flag goes green again. We have to wait a bit longer because they made sure to talk to that driver, and now we go green, but we actually have a late activation of the kart, and as you can see a little bit of frustration there because the guy just drives away, and now we have to catch all of that back up again, which is gonna take a few laps, although it does mean we can use our pace to maybe go for a personal best. But as you can see we are quicker because we are catching up quite quickly, and we're actually catching up to a train in front as well there. There's 3 karts there that are fighting, so maybe if we can get involved with them, then we can overtake not just the car in front, but a lot of them. But for now, we're gonna be focusing on that car in front. Let's catch up to him and then see what we can do with the cars that we can see there in the foreground. Now going through the left-hander, it's actually not taken that long, and a 32.890 last lap, so definitely showing that we have more pace in the kart as he makes a mistake through the spiral. I also made a little bit of a mistake, but we are definitely quicker. It's just the mistakes when we are right at the back of his kart that we lose time to him and that we're stuck behind him, that we kind of have slower lap time. So we definitely need to get past to show our pace, but we don't know how, and looking there to the left doesn't quite work out, so we're gonna have to stick behind and have a good exit. Now we're closer than we have been on the straight, but again into the spiral the gap has grown by too much, so we can't get past, as we only have 10 more laps including this one to get past and get an overtake done. We have been stuck this whole race. It has been really frustrating, so we are still trying everything. Can we still make that move with about a third of the race still to go, which does sound like a lot, but these laps go by very quickly. Looking to the inside, can't make that move, stick behind. Now we use the same line as he does going onto the straight, but again he just drives away there. He has some more power maybe in his kart. We do take the spiral well though, and still we are behind him. Looking now through the right-hander and the left-hander, but still nothing to do there. We do seem to be able to stay closer than we have been before, but that doesn't mean there's room for an overtake, although we are desperately looking for a gap. Going up the hill again, almost enough room, but not quite enough speed to stick it next to kart 19. If only we can get alongside, then we could make an overtake, as we have a massive hit there. We hit him in the back. We kind of apologize, of course he can't see that. It was an honest mistake from my part, as I do try to overtake cleanly, but we're gonna have a yellow flag actually again, so we get slowed down there. And now someone coming out the pit, we actually go in front, and maybe a little bit naughty, but that is a position gain there, because we were on the exit there. He couldn't kind of hold us up. It was a bit difficult, but now something that we have not seen before. We're gonna be seeing a mistake from the marshal, giving kart 19 a blue flag. You can see me looking a few times, and I was actually trying to communicate it's not a blue flag. As we go green, we are right behind kart number 19, and going through the right-hander, stick behind him. Through the left-hander, we dive down the inside. It felt like a really good move. Afterwards, the guy told me that he let me through because the blue flag. Looking back, it doesn't look like it. It really does look like he's fighting it, and that was a good overtake. So suddenly up to position 7 laps including this one still to go, so trying to maybe now catch up to the guy we can see in front and set some quicker lap times. But that was a good overtake, and looking behind me there, they are still there, but they are losing some time, so that was a good move. And now trying to get onto the next guy, and as we cross the line, we're gonna be only having 6 more laps if we include this lap, and that means we're almost at the end of this race. That doesn't mean it's done. There's quite a lot still to come, so stay tuned for the final laps, and there is still a red flag even to come. I haven't talked about it yet, but it has to do with the guy in the Aston Martin race suit, so stay tuned for that as well. Now going to the uphill section, we are catching up with the guys in front, but the rate we are catching up with, it does actually seem like it's going to be lap traffic, as we said, a 32.7. So again, a great improvement on our lap time. It's not going to be our quickest lap, even we are still going to be improving as we catch up now. Someone says he's going to the left and lets us pass, so that was some lapped traffic. And looking in front, that might actually be someone who is on the same lap with me, slowly catching him and slowly getting closer and closer, but he is out of reach. We only have a few more laps after this, so unless he's making a few mistakes, we shouldn't be able to catch up. As we said, another quick lap time there, but 32.8 is really good, and that does mean we are catching. And looking behind, we do have a good enough gap that we don't have to worry about it for those final few laps, so So that is something I am pleased to see as we go through the middle section of this lap. It does seem quite quick, so we are doing well and going around the corner for the uphill section there. The gap seems to be shrinking quite quickly, but going through the final corner onto the straight, we have a red flag. I see it quite late and brake not too quickly. That means we catch up to the guy in front, but the reason for the red flag is the Aston Martin race suit guy. He's being removed from the track after a yellow flag. His car didn't go to full speed quickly enough to his own liking, meaning he has been ignoring blue flags. The whole race has ruined the battle for P1, and afterwards just completely did things that he shouldn't do. He was driving backwards on the track as we go yellow and slowly get going again. He has been removed from the track because going backwards on the straight while people are going past is something you absolutely shouldn't do. And now we're fighting for these final few laps with the guy in front. But let me know in the comments if you have ever seen something like that on track. Someone who is quite an experienced karter, it seems, because they have a race suit, but then just do things you absolutely shouldn't do, especially on a straight with people coming towards you. And the marshals had enough, removed him from track, and he actually told us that he is never coming back to this track, as we are now looking to make a move to the kart in front, kart 29. Of course, it was a bit cheeky how we got so close, but he has a great exit there through the right hand hairpin, so we have to make a move through the spiral or get close, but unfortunately we make a mistake, oversteer there a little bit. He has a great exit, and I do see some cars in front, so there might be some traffic there, but they might not play a part as there's only one final lap after this one, and the guy in kart 29 does seem to be a little bit quicker than me, although through the final part of the track we do seem to catch up with him a little bit more, as we set a 32.8, so a good lap, and my quickest lap is actually this final lap, having good speed through the double hairpin then, and then going through the spiral, making sure we're not making any mistakes, good speed through, and kart 29 does seem to be helpful in a way that we can just follow his line, do what he does, and we actually catch up a tiny bit through the right and then the left, but his exit is better, and we are now approaching the penultimate corner. Take it well, go up the hill, and then final corner there, go through the right hander, and then across the line to finish the race with a 32.626. So a good final lap, a good final lap time. And thanks for watching, guys, as I actually tried to seek out the guy that I overtook after the blue flag. I tried to get to him, but the guy beside me thinks it's for him. He apologizes, thinks it's kind of funny, and I give him a fist bump because he did well defending. I thought it was a good overtake, later heard that it was also the blue flag. As we see the event results, we have finished in P7 overall, and that means a best finish for me at TeamSport. Now tune in next week for a video in Germany. Thanks for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.